Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Daniel McGuire here, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down how to build as much wealth as you possibly can as a teenager. Not necessarily as how you can build the quickest $1 million portfolio or $1 million savings account, but how to build as much wealth as you can possibly can to set yourself up to be as valuable as you possibly can when you graduate high school and you're classified as an adult. So, before you go to college, before you start a trade school, before you, maybe go into a career right away, before you go into investing, how to set yourself up and how to be as valuable to yourself and to other people as you can. So be sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Any feedback you have for myself for the videos that I want to be creating or will be creating in the future, be sure you leave them in the comment section below, and let's get to it. Now, the first piece of advice that I could give is to have a financial sense of literacy. And by this, I mean, don't go out and spend your entire paycheck on one thing that maybe a year or two down the line you're not even going to need or you're not going to use, or really just doesn't bring value back to yourself. So really try to consider, being more frugal with your money, and maybe you don't need a certain item, you don't need to go out to eat every day, you don't need to maybe get a soda. Just again, small little expenses like that can save up and be very beneficial and very costly down the line. So that just sets yourself up. So maybe you're living above your means and you're spending more than you're really making, and you go into debt, and then that just gets progressively worse as you start making more money, but your also expenses are going up with that. So try to live as below the amount of money that you're making as possible so you can have a sense of savings, and try to save up a little money on the side. Now, every now and again, maybe you want to splurge and buy one thing that you've really wanted or you're kind of eyeing. That's totally fine, that happens to the best of us. But really try to get an early sense of your financial literacy so you're not just blowing all the money you make and then you have no savings and then you're really just living paycheck to paycheck. And try to save as much as you can and try to just be as frugal as you can as well, and cutting out expenses that aren't really needed but they're wants. So the next piece of advice I could give is start trying to look at investments for further down the line. Obviously, I've said this in a few other videos. Angel's saying, I wish I started investing as early as I possibly could have and start investing earlier. So this is where that begins. Maybe you want to invest in a Roth IRA, you start putting a couple bucks here and there into the stock market. Again, just set yourself up for further down the line. If you are considering compounding interest, which again, that's building your money and then flipping that and then reinvesting that, and it's just all the money that just keeps growing. That's kind of one direction that you want to consider. Start as early as you possibly can, even if it's not, maybe a $10,000, straight down payment onto, the stock market. But every now and again, if you could save up maybe $50, $100 every paycheck, again, that's just growing over time. And then by the time you're, in your 50s or 60s and you pull all that money out, it'll be much more than just those $50 or $100 that were at that point what you had. So consider investing in long-term investments and look into it, read up on it, go to YouTube videos like this one, and really just keep going for it. So with that, where you're kind of, looking at maybe YouTube videos for advice and everything, I would suggest reading books as well if you have the downtime. Very beneficial to read books. I know a lot of people don't like reading them, so maybe just put up an audiobook and then go from there. But definitely, start immersing yourself with as much knowledge as you possibly can, as early as you can, where you don't really maybe have as many responsibilities as you would have later on in life, where you have a little bit more downtime. And again, an audiobook, you kind of just pop it in, maybe your aux cord, and then you kind of just listen to it when you're on your way to work, when you're on your way from the gym to the gym. You're going to hang out with your friends, you're listening to 5-10 minutes of it, still stimulating your brain, and you're learning a lot of knowledge from other people who are very well versed in their particular field. And again, entertainment for yourself, so you're not just sitting there idly not doing anything. And again, just immersing yourself and getting as much knowledge as you possibly can as early as you possibly can as well. So the next one, again, is going to sound a little more counterintuitive, but you're a teenager potentially in college, so you're really young, or early 20s, mid 20s. You still have a lot of time potentially, so you're really young, so that's your biggest commodity, is the time you have. So don't be afraid to kind of go out, do something. Maybe a lot of people might think it's crazy, but you're really going to put yourself forth, but something you enjoy doing. And maybe it might not be the most beneficial thing, from another person's perspective, especially maybe like your parents or your friends, but something that you want to do. Go do it. I think that's one of the most beneficial things you can do, is do something where a lot of people might think it's crazy. Maybe turn down a job and do something else. Maybe, go travel, maybe do something else. Try to do as much as you can while you have, again, that time. You're going to be so young, and you have your rest of your life to really figure out and put the pieces in order when they kind of come in line for you. Now, the next piece of advice I've constantly reiterated on other prior videos, and I will constantly reiterate again, is never burn a bridge. So always try to have connections with individuals, and network as much as you can, and just talk to them. You maybe never know when one person who knows somebody else that can maybe hook you up with a job. Maybe they give you some money to help them out with do a certain thing. Maybe they give you promotion, maybe they give you a shout out to grow something that you're doing. Again, just something similar to that, and that would be very beneficial to you. So never burn a bridge. Always try to be in constant communication with as many people as you possibly can. don't be afraid to put yourself out there as well. You know, you'd be younger, people want to know that you're really eager to really be excited. So maybe just reach out to an individual and then kind of be in discussions with them and follow up with them as much as you possibly can. So definitely keep it going. And again, never burn a bridge and be in communication and contact as much as you possibly can for networking opportunities that may present themselves years down the line. You never know what's going to come down the line with people that you know and meet and talk to. Okay, so the last one is also going to be the most important one in my opinion, and that's going to be learning from your failures and maybe getting a job that you're not comfortable with, that's not holistically in your comfort zone. Really learn to adapt what you're doing, really learn to, you know, maybe get a job where you're learning skills set further in life, you know, like public speaking, being comfortable in front of other people, you know, talking to a camera for that matter, you know, being able to really adapt and really just building your skill set to sharpen them up for further in life, where you may not have as much time to really work on them, or you're really in a job where you're not presented with those opportunities, but you would have been comfortable with them from an earlier age. Really try to do that. And again, touching on the failure thing, everybody's failed to some extent. You know, a lot of people like talking about their successes because they are very proud of those, but they don't really like talking about their failures because of the amount of time they failed. So don't be afraid to fail, especially at an early age. You know, you're learning, and a failure is going to prove to be very beneficial to some extent because you're going to learn from it. So don't be afraid if you failed, you know, maybe in a life circumstance, you know, maybe you failed a class or a job you got fired from. Learn from all of that and really try to adapt yourself to be as successful as you possibly can. So again, be sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments or feedback, be sure you leave them in the comment section below, and thank you for watching.